want to take some time and talk about The Last Jedi. Got a chance to see it last night, and I absolutely hated it. Yeah, I hated it so much, it literally gave me hives. Look at this. My face is all messed up because of The Last Jedi, and I hate it. Um, it literally was one of my least favorite Star Wars movies, if not my very least favorite Star Wars movie. I will go as far as to say I enjoyed all of the prequels more than it, even Episode 1, even Jar Jar Binks. I just felt that this was just a complete miss for me. It didn't feel like Star Wars at all. I didn't like it. I liked Rogue One even better, but I liked Rogue One also better than Force Awakens. Now, I'm going to get into some spoilers here, so if you have not seen the movie yet, go ahead and turn this off. Also, if you're a fucking crying baby, go ahead and leave now. You can submit your downvote, and you can leave your comment if you like, and I'll give you a second here to go ahead and do that. Okay, awesome. Now that we got all the fucking crying babies out, let's go into why I didn't like this movie. Again, spoilers. I'm going to kind of just ramble now about the whole thing. Movie starts out, it's fun, you're looking at some really super awesome action scenes, and then it just completely fucking takes a complete nosedive for me. Now, I don't really like any of these characters since Force Awakens. There isn't one particular character I don't like. I don't like all of them. I'm not a Rey fan, I'm not a Kylo fan, I'm not a Finn fan, I'm not a Phasma fan, because there really isn't anything, in my opinion, to be a fan of. These aren't actual characters, they're just existing in this world. I don't have any feelings for them whatsoever, and this is continuing down that line for me. I just don't care about these people at all. So that being said, you get done with the intro battle, and then the nosedive, in my opinion, starts right when they get to the island where Luke shows up. You've got Rey that is just kind of meandering around the island, training on herself. Luke's just moping. There's this really weird fucking scene where he like milks the creature and then he like drinks it, and it's I get what you're saying. You're trying to make him like all hard and savage maybe or something like that, but it was just weird, and I didn't feel like it even needed to be there. The scene where he pole vaults over the ocean, I'd literally have to watch that again, like he was like stabbing a fish or something that he was taken back. It was just the weirdest way to hunt that I've ever seen. It was just the weirdest thing I've ever seen. It was totally bizarre. And so finally when he does start talking to her and helping her out, it's just this, oh, use the Force, focus. You know, the same shit we've heard a million times from fucking Yoda and Obi-Wan, and he's just regurgitating that shit all over again. I paid attention as close as fuck during this movie to every word that was said, and there was nothing that was said on that island that was worth two shits. So, going forward, we get off the island finally. And then there's also an awkward scene with the Wookiee where he's like, it's kind of cute, where he's trying to eat the porg, and the porgs are looking at him. And at one point, it looks like he's not going to eat it, and he's just going to, like, have killed this animal, skinned it, and, you know, throw away its carcass without actually eating the meat. I'm an animal guy. Like, I definitely believe you kill something, you need to eat it. So that was just a weird scene for me. And you got the porgs watching him eat it, and it was just kind of savage. I didn't like it. I didn't like the porgs in general. Those things were way hyped up, and they felt like animatronics. I don't think they actually looked like real creatures whatsoever. It looked like a little robot that somebody didn't do a good job of. And if we're going to go back to that, using real, actual objects to make creatures, you got to do it right. In my opinion, The Force Awakens had the same problem. All of its aliens that were like big and were like weird and walking, they just looked like things in suits. They didn't look good at all. And I actually believe that we've lost some of that ability to make handcrafted creatures look really good. You should have just gone the CGI route, because it just looks stupid. So we're on the island, we finally get off the island. Chewie, again, another complaint here, is he's just used as side dressing. You got one of the coolest characters in the Star Wars universe, and you don't do jack shit with him besides maybe a joke. And then he comes in at the end of the movie. That's it. That's our Chewie for us. You know, one of our favorite characters. You know, no fan service whatsoever, hardly. So we advance into now where we're with Finn and we're with Rose. Now, it seems that the internet is really split. I used to think it was like 30 to 40% of us that weren't liking it, and then the rest of you guys were. It seems to be almost a 40-50% split, where it's either you're loving it or hating it. And a lot of people seem to not like Rose. I didn't have too much of a problem with her, but I felt like she wasn't really given anything to work with, and she was just kind of like a side-dressing character. And the whole thing where Finn meets her, and then they go to that Centobite, like the gambling place, it was just stupid. It was so dumb. Nobody wanted to see that. It just felt like it was totally not part of the story, and from maybe like even another movie altogether. Then they, ride out of there. They meet Benicio del Toro, which is an amazing actor, yet again giving absolutely nothing to work with. You have hardly any idea like what this guy's about. He's just kind of like a traitor type, scoundrel guy. I get it. But it was completely not using really good talent. I don't believe anybody that has in this movie was actually given anything to work with. Finn wasn't given anything to work with. When they broke onto the Snoke's ship, like, oh wow, we'd never seen that before. We'd never seen a group of rebels break into a ship, dressed as, it was just so bad, man. It was so bad. And then you see the black BB-8 ball roll up and it sees them, and I thought there was going to be some really kick-ass scene where BB-8 and the little black drone were going to be like, fighting back and forth. What is it, BB-9E or something like that? Nope, just an excuse to sell a toy. Just like Captain Phasma, we get, 2 minutes of her fighting Finn in a pretty just much B-grade fight that could have been in any movie ever. And it was just completely stupid. The whole Phasma thing is just, they're really just saying, look how cool she looks, buy toys, buy collectibles. But they didn't develop that character at all. Now she's dead and we'll never hear from her again, probably. So that was just a complete waste of time. Once Rey and Kylo Ren got to the Snoke area, again, I have a big complaint with that too, in the sense that Snoke, if you look into some of the comic books and stuff, he's fucking powerful as shit. This guy can, you saw him what he did to Kylo, lightning, electricity. The guy is just one of those massively good mental Sith. So it would be really odd for him to not have heard Kylo just thinking about moving the lightsaber. Snoke should have been like, Kylo, dude, I can literally hear you thinking, what are you doing? It made no sense that somebody as amateur as Kylo, and as powerful as Kylo is, he's supposed to be really powerful, I get that, but, this is Snoke. This is like, it would be like Luke Skywalker taking advantage of the Emperor. It just literally made no sense. So then you get into the fight where Rey and Kylo are whacking the Praetorian guards, and that was a cool fight, yeah, but at the same time, I want to see a lightsaber fight. I don't want to see lightsabers used in a fight. That is cool, but I'm jonesing to see an actual duel, and this movie just completely disappointed me in that aspect. It also disappointed me. I was really hoping maybe Kylo was going to go back over to the light side. I thought it'd been a really cool idea to make Poe Dameron force sensitive, because he was actually given a seed. His mom was given a seed by Luke Skywalker, and Luke Skywalker planted it in Poe Dameron's basically backyard. Poe Dameron grew up on a force-sensitive tree, playing on it and whatnot, and we already know he's done amazing piloting things that have even rivaled Luke Skywalker in my opinion on skills. So it would have been really cool to find out that he was force-sensitive and a Jedi. No, that's too fucking cool. We can't do that. So anyways, we go back to the Kylo and Rey thing, and right when you think he's maybe going to turn into this cool guy, it just kind of falls apart in my opinion. He doesn't want to be a Sith or a Jedi. He just wants to do away with the whole thing, and the mystery was just completely taken away. That was another one of my complaints. You have the first movie that sets up this Snoke character. There's all these theories about who he is and what he's doing and where he's been and what his powers are. Just a red herring. It doesn't matter at all, because he's dead now and whatever. It was just to kind of mislead you. Rey, all these cool things about, is she a Kenobi? Is she a Skywalker? Is she something else? No, she's just some kid that got dropped off on a backwater planet, nothing special. It removed the mystery and the allure. It removed it so much, there's nothing absolutely to look forward to in part 3. What? We're just trying to find out what they're doing, what's going on, where they're spending their time. It was a complete fucking waste of time, and stupid. What am I missing? Okay, so we got that out of the way. So now we advance to the end of the movie. Okay, so they're all the rebels are sitting into the salt planet, and the rebels have just broken down into there's 20 of them left. It's so small. The AT-AT walkers show up, and I thought there was going to be this awesome battle where those skiff-looking things were going to be flying around to AT-ATs, maybe channeling some of the Empire Strikes Back. Nope, they just show up and shoot at Luke for a little bit. And I asked my friend, before I saw it, I was like, man, just tell me, Luke does this, right? He whips out the green saber, we get what we want, right? We get what we should have had in Force Awakens. In my opinion, Force Awakens should have ended with exactly like it did, and Kylo is about to destroy Rey, And right when he's about to swing at her, you hear a lightsaber light up, and you see a green light fill up the sky, and he swings his red lightsaber, and Luke intercepts it right there. And then we see the greatest battle comeback we've ever seen in movie history. Everybody stands up out of their seats and watches Luke Skywalker beat the shit out of Kylo Ren, and it's just an amazing, awesome fight. That would have been badass. Okay, so I would expect that they didn't do that in the first one. Maybe we'll see that in this movie. No, it was the weakest there wasn't even a lightsaber duel. How is this possible? I understand Rogue One. I get it. And they even threw Darth Vader in at the end just because I felt like they're like, hey, we gotta throw a lightsaber in this movie. Anybody saying, oh, you're so focused on lightsabers. No, man, lightsabers are freaking awesome, and they're part of why Star Wars is so amazing. People love Star Wars. If you look at how much they're searched online, there's sports with them. That's part of Star Wars. To not give us lightsaber fan service is fucking criminal. Rian Johnson sucks. I hope they either talk to him about his supposed trilogy and say, hey man, we gotta change some shit because you need to get the Star Wars back in Star Wars. A lot of people saying that it's better than the prequels. I actually liked all the prequels better, especially Revenge of the Sith. But I would say that even Phantom Menace was better than this pile of shit. Why? Because at least it did something new. At least the prequels brought us the Clone Wars, which went out. You can't argue me. There's people that love the Clone Wars. That went out, spawned multiple series, all kinds of lore and history. So you can't just completely shit on the prequels altogether. They did bring a lot of cool content to the board. So that being said, this brought nothing new. Star Wars has been known for bringing out cool ships, cool things, right? When Empire Strikes Back came out, we saw the AT-AT walkers and AT-STs, and then at some point you saw the snow speeders, Return of the Jedi. You've got the speeder bikes and TIE interceptors. Every movie kind of was like, hey, here's some cool stuff. Force Awakens and this movie have not brought anything new to the table whatsoever that you're just going to completely love. Yeah, there's a couple cool ships here and there, but for the most part, it's not driving Star Wars at all. And I'm a huge fan. I have a lot of collectibles. I'm a massive fan of the movies. I just didn't like this. So again, I'm kind of rambling here now at this point, but so we get back to the fight. Kylo Ren shows up, and my friend told me, like, it's if you're looking for, Luke Unleashed, it's not going to happen. So Kylo Ren whips out his lightsaber, Luke whips out the blue one, and I'm like, oh, dude, my bro lied to me to, just so I had something special to look forward to at the end. They're going to fight. And we proceed to get the worst lightsaber battle in Star Wars history. No, that is the worst lightsaber battle in Star Wars history. That was worse than Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader. It was awful, and it was terrible, and everybody and their mom was looking forward to Luke going out. And I actually anticipate, we've heard Mark Hamill had some creative differences and creative problems with the director. I can kind of see why. If I was Luke Skywalker, I'd be like, you don't get it. Luke has to go out fighting. He has to go out in a battle. I don't care what happens. He can die, he can live, whatever. We need to see that green lightsaber get whipped out, and we need an epic fight. And they were totally capable of doing it, and they didn't. Nobody asked for anything that was in this movie. And they've completely taken away all the magic. They've taken away all the mystery. Really, really, really don't like it. In fact, I give it an F. It's the worst Star Wars movie I've ever seen. I hope Rian Johnson either gets talking to or something, because I do not want to see 3 more movies from him. Another scene that really sucked was when Rose died at the end. That was some of the worst acting I'd ever seen. She basically was, she was kind of fanboying out for Finn because he's like a, hero of the Rebels, and so she knew who he was, and so she was kind of like fangirling out, should I say. And when she told him that, she kind of loved him. She was, she had a crush on him. It just felt so forced, and when she died, it was like this. It was like the worst acting ever. It was just awful. I didn't feel anything for anybody. Oh, Leia. How can I forget about Leia? Everybody's talking about how they're going to be crying in the movie. I actually didn't feel anything, which was weird. I don't feel like they set up anything for me to feel anything. Like when Leia got blown out of the ship, I was like, holy shit, that was savage. Like they took her out like hardcore. I didn't expect it to go like that. And then when she did that thing where she floats back into the ship, I'm like, what is this nonsense? It just looks stupid. I didn't like it whatsoever. And you can almost tell she was nearing the end of her time. When she talked about I couldn't actually understand her half of the time. I literally didn't know what she was saying. As much as I love Leia and stuff, this is not about her personally. I just don't believe the character actually brought anything to the movie. And she's alive. What the hell? Like, she's actually alive? What's going on? Like, I just don't get how that worked out whatsoever. Luke, no, I used the word murdery to my friend, and he said maybe that's going a little bit too far, but he did have the intentions of whacking, Kylo, and it makes me look at Luke differently now. He's not the same Luke that he used to be. My buddy was like, well, it makes him more human that way, and that is true. I like it when our heroes make mistakes, when they fuck up, and they show that they're actually real people. But it just changed things for me, and it made me look at Kylo Ren differently, and I wish Kylo had gone over to the light side. I would have just loved to see that. So I just don't believe we got the fan service that we deserve whatsoever. I really didn't like this movie. Really, really hated it. Super disappointed. Yeah, so that's my impressions of it. Absolutely hated it. Did not like it whatsoever. Real absolute bummer for me. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to you next time.